guys, welcome back to Angela, and on this topic I wanted to talk about how there is no limit to the narcissist's lies. There is no limit to the narcissist's lies. So I was thinking to myself, right, because sometimes you'll think to yourself, like, how you ended up with these people, why did you end up staying that long? You think about a lot of the stuff that they did, that when you look back, you're almost like, you're flabbergasted. You're like, how did what was going on in my brain? Why couldn't I process what was going on? Or even if you said something, even if you said the truth meant nothing. The evidence meant nothing. Even, when you come to that conclusion, like that you're never going to get the truth out of the narcissist, because it can get to the point where it's like, you just want the truth. Like, you're just like, I just want the truth. You won't get the truth. The narcissist will give you the truth when they feel like giving you the truth. When they feel like they have nothing to gain from you, or they're trying to get you off their ass, basically, because they have that new source of supply. So now it's like, anything I do, it's to hurt you. It's so that you could be so disgusted with my behavior as a human being, and you can say, this person is so sick that I need to leave them alone, right? So a part of you feels like, breakups are hard for both parties. So you kind of try to put yourself in the narcissist situation. Like, if they want the relationship to be over, then let it be over. Like, I don't want to make them feel uncomfortable. I don't want them to feel like I'm trying to hold on to them when clearly they don't want to be held on to. So you try to see how they might be feeling, how they might feel like they want something new, maybe they want something younger, whatever the case is. These people will treat you horribly, and you'll still want the best for them, and even when you're basically sacrificing yourself, your happiness, because you're understanding that you were being deceived, and you're understanding that you made that choice, whether you were an unwilling participant because you weren't fully aware of what you were dealing with, but you come to that conclusion, like, this person's not a good person. Like, they don't have any empathy for me. Like, they don't feel bad at all. Like, that my tears don't mean nothing to them. My heartbreak don't mean nothing to them. Me feeling used, manipulated, none of that means nothing to them. And to you, a lot of times when you want closure, you want the truth, or you want them to kind of be like, you know what, I did care about you at some point, or I do love you, and it breaks my heart that it's coming to an end, because I just like you feel like you grew up and you learned a lot in the relationship. Even if it was something toxic, you learned a lot where it made you stronger. It made you see the world differently. You always had empathy for people, but now it's a different type of empathy, where now you understand that people are facing all types of challenges, and that most people don't understand or don't empathize until it's happening to them. So to you, it's like, I don't need this shit to happen to me. I don't need to learn my lesson the hard way. Like, if someone was to give you red flags or bring something to your awareness, you're not gonna be like, nah, you don't really know the narcissist, you don't really know this person. And you're willing to make your own judgment. You're willing to make your own judgment when it comes to people. But what you come to realize, that before you were with the narcissist, or before you were aware of the narcissistic people, family, friends in your life, you didn't realize that these people were such liars. Like, there's no limit to their lies, right? We know that they always twisted the story, right? When you're dealing with narcissistic friends, family, people, you know that they add things that didn't happen to the story, or they twist the story, or they do something to make themselves the victim in that story, or they even accuse you of being the one to do to them the things that they've done to you. But there's gonna be these rare occasions where it's like there's no limit to the lies that these people will say just to just to hurt you, you know, just to hurt you, or just to conceal their image. You can seek for the truth in the narcissist. You could plead for them to basically just leave you alone, right? You could plead with them, hey, if I know breakups are hard, I know that you're probably abusing me because you feel like you want to get out of it, but you don't know how to get out of it because you feel like you've moved on and I'm gonna fuck up whatever you got going on. So a lot of times, you know, what we do as empaths is that when we feel like someone is there in the picture, yeah, sometimes we're fishing for information, we're fishing for trying to figure out who this person is, we're investigating, we might end up finding out who this person is, we might reach out to them. But at the end of the day, you don't leave the narcissist alone because of these things. You don't leave the narcissist behind even when they've lied to you. And you have this thing that you were taught when you were young, which is to forgive. So a lot of times in narcissistic families, you are taught to forgive, but the cycle ends up continuing, and the cycle doesn't stop. If anything, it gets worse a lot of times. So when we see the red flags, or we figure out that we've been lied to and things like that, we forgive the narcissist. We accept their excuses. And when we accept their excuses, the narcissist looks at it like, this person is dumb. They believe anything. And when you come out of these things and you realize that when you're dealing with someone who lies, even if it's just one lie, it's not something, I'm not saying you can't forgive it, but you have to question it. Sometimes people lie because they feel like it's none of your business, or they feel like you're fishing for information, so they just lie to you and they tell white lies because they feel like you're trying to use information against them. That's different. But when you're in a relationship with a narcissist, or you have a close, at least you think you have a close bond, and this person is lying to you, you're not realizing that someone who can easily lie to you cannot empathize with you. People that don't empathize with others' emotions are typically liars, are typically people that lie a lot, that are aware of their lies, that find joy in their lies, you know. And when you leave these liars alone, because you realize there's no limit to these lies that these people will say, they will make it seem like you were obsessed with them, but they were obsessed with you. They wouldn't leave you alone until they could secure supply. And they didn't care about the lies. They didn't care about torturing you. They didn't care about your tears. They didn't care about your sleepless nights. And as a person who's imperfect, when you're aware of things that you do, you feel bad. You know, you feel like, you know, you think about something you do and you're like, I need to correct this about myself. This is a bad character flaw. But you get the opposite from these type of people. They think of ways to be sneaky about it, to get away with it, to size people up. You know, there's always something behind the narcissist's lies. There's always a motive. And when you are away from the narcissist, you have this type of peace because you know that no one is lying to you. You're not having fucking manifestations of spirits and energy and dreams trying to warn you that the energy around you is fucked up. That the person you're dealing with, there's no limits to their lies. You're not putting two and two together and you're not putting two and two together and taking their lies as something that's serious, something that is detrimental to your own life. And when you leave these people alone and you have peace of not being lied to by people, you can spot a liar quicker. You know, you start spotting people lying about anything. Dealing with a narcissist who is always lying to you and gaslighting you, what it has taught me is that you can't trust just what people say. Prior to dealing with these people, I believed what these people said. If they apologized to me and then they did this shit again and then they apologized again, I'll just keep thinking, oh, they're sorry. And there was no limit. There was no boundary. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't process how bad, you can't process the negative aspect of what a lie can do. The bad luck that it can bring to your life. The narcissist is aware of their bad luck. They're aware of their low energy. They're aware of living through others' light. They're aware that they have to lie their way everywhere they go just to survive, because they can't produce light when they don't even want to they don't want to learn from their karma. They're aware of it. They're trying to find loopholes of how to keep repeating the cycle, or how to go undetected. So when you're not dealing with these people and you're not dealing with these frauds, with these liars, and you're not willing to accept disrespect from people, and people feeling in your energy like you're not the type of person that I could just disrespect. They know that just because you're nice they could tell the difference between someone who's nice and gullible and someone who's nice and who chooses to be nice because they went through something. And whatever they went through, they want to see the light in everybody. And people, even narcissistic people, can feel that. And a lot of times when they feel that type of energy of someone who's at peace, they become, their energy is disturbed by that. They try to figure out how to make up lies about you, or how to make assumptions or ask you personal questions, trying to undermine you, trying to play games with you, or trying to present themselves as a good Samaritan and even give you an image of who they are, right? A lot of these narcissists will tell you up front what they do for a living, what they, how, you know, they tell you stuff right away, right? And this is something that I also learned, you know, when you're dealing with a narcissist who lies to you and now you go out into the world, it does something to you where it's almost like how people say that police officers, you know, they treat people guilty until proven innocent, right? When really you're innocent until proven guilty. You're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, right? But a lot of people will say, oh, you know, cops treat you like you're guilty you know, when they ain't got enough proof, instead of, you know, when you could be innocent, but they're treating you like you're guilty. And I was thinking that, like, I understand how after dealing with narcissists, you could treat people like they're guilty and assume things and assume they're a narcissist, or assume, you know, or just you can feel like you can become antisocial. You could become like, oh, I don't want to be around people, you know, people, negative energy, right? And you feel like you dread being around people because they're always up to something. You're like, you know, people got flaws, so you're trying to figure, you're like, you know, there's a flaw in people. You start seeing negativity, you start seeing the bad, you start feeling like, I can't really be myself, I really can't trust people, I can't really say anything because it's going to be used against me. You start feeling like, you know, being yourself around people can put you in a sticky situation, just because of the simple fact that it's like the narcissist gaslights you so much that you don't really believe shit that people say, or what they do, or what they're about, or you don't believe people's kindness. Even you don't believe people when they're like, oh, God bless you, you know, you don't believe nothing people say. You feel like everyone's playing a role, everyone's playing a game. You feel like people are trying to seem like they're nice, and people will say, oh, you're paranoid, oh, you're, you know, you were just in a toxic relationship. But no, when you give it enough time, you see these things manifesting. You know, like I came across a narcissist who, you know, they start telling me what they do for a living, and they start telling me, you know, all these things, right? But then they had asked me for a favor, and I'm thinking to myself, you're doing all these things, why would you ask me for this favor? And I didn't, the favor they asked me for, I was like, I'm sorry, I can't. I'm sorry, I can't. Because I felt like they were trying to force themselves on me and force a friendship on me. And then on top of that, you're asking for a favor. So I kind of brushed it all off, and I could tell that they switched, like they became angry. And I thought to myself, see, this is why I never wanted to get close to you, because now I see you getting angry. I see you getting upset, right? But you're gonna try to, you're a narcissist, you're gonna try to make it seem like it didn't bother you after you just showed your passive aggressiveness, right? So now dude comes and he said, hey, remember when I told you this and that about what I do? I was lying. I'm actually this. This is actually what I do for a living. He said he was a lawyer or something. He said, I was just lying. I'm not a lawyer. You know, like basically saying he works in healthcare or whatever. And I remember thinking to myself, like, who would make up a fucking lie like that and tell someone a lie like that, right? And then when he cleared up his own lie, I was thinking to myself, when he told me he worked in the healthcare field or whatever, I was thinking to myself, I said, I don't believe nothing this motherfucker say. I don't even believe what he's saying now, right? So he could tell from my energy that I wasn't surprised that he lied. He could tell that I was aware, like, of not to trust him as a person. Like, he came at me like a whole animal, trying to see if I'm going to trust that animal. Just because it's not barking at me, it doesn't mean it doesn't want to bite me, right? So to him, it's almost like he laughed it off, right? Then, you know, I had another occasion with another narcissist. Like I said, they use the religion shit on you. And he's like, oh, God bless you. And you know, Jesus loves you. And I'm like, this motherfucker is a narcissist. He wants me to believe he's, you know, religious and shit. But I grew up in the church. I grew up around people that people, you know, respected. They respected them. They respected them because of what they had, because of their money, because of their donations. And these are some of the most narcissistic people, but in a different type of way, right? It's not like it's on a higher level, but it's on a level that it's gonna be very undetected. You're not really gonna see or feel like these people are narcissists unless you actually know them or grew up with them. If you are someone like on the outside, these people are your friends. Sometimes they might get together as a family. You might think, oh, this is a great family, but it's a lot of people in that family that aren't there, and you don't know why they're not there, and you don't even know that they exist, because these people are liars. They lie about everything. So when you're dealing with narcissistic people, there's no limit to their lies. You know, there's no limit to the lies that narcissistic people will tell you. So I had another narcissist. I also came, like I said, that narcissist that came at me, he kept coming at me with the Jesus loves you, and I'm like, I don't believe shit he says, you know, because after I came out of that relationship and I started paying attention to all the narcissists in my life, I realized that the empathy and the lying, it goes hand in hand, right? Someone can lie to you so easily and not feel bad and do that shit for months and years. And even when you want to let go of the relationship because it's causing you too much pain, they will come and pop up with flowers. They're not thinking about your emotions. They're thinking about, how can I move on? How can I break you down so much that you're not going to expose me to someone else? You're just going to want to disappear on me. And when you're aware that that's what they want, you'll give them that space. Like, motherfucker, you don't have to abuse me mentally, spiritually, financially. If you want to leave, right? But now if you leave, you go ghost, they're paranoid. So they're only reaching out to you, coming around, because they're paranoid. They're thinking you're gonna pop up on them when they least expect it. So to them, it's like, you ignoring me is not going to be enough for me. I'm going to keep hoovering you every couple weeks, months, even if it's just an email, even if it's just to see if I can come around, even if anything. They never stop. It's all designed to destroy you, because the fact that they were able to lie to you, the narcissist looks at it like, you're dumb, right? Because I was able to lie to you, and you don't even know they're lying to you, but that's how they're viewing you, because of their own. They feel like, if I'm able to lie to you and you don't know, and your woman intuition or your intuition ain't kicking in, and you're not seeking for answers, you're kind of ignoring it, you don't want to see it for what it is. To them, they'll start leaving you big red flags everywhere. And if you ignore it, it validates them why they should treat you the way that they're treating you. And what happens is that they start hating you for ignoring the lies, right? The lies that they've told. So they start viewing you like you did something to them. And like I said, I've came across many different narcissists that play different games. And what I noticed with all of them is that if you're not aware of the game that they're playing, you know, if you're not aware of that shit, to them, it's like, you're dumb. I'm going to be able to exploit you, you know. But if you catch the red flags right away, and you see through that shit right away, and you see, when you come across these narcissists and they're charming, and even though you're being polite, you still got that mentality of you're guilty until proven innocent. You still got that mentality, instead of thinking everyone is innocent until they give you a reason to. To the narcissist, they feel like you're being safe. They're like, oh, better safe than sorry, huh, bitch? You're paying attention, right? And they'll expose themselves, and they don't want nothing to do with you because they can see that you're too aware and self-aware of what's going on. They know, oh, I can't get at you through religion. That shit don't work. That shit, I can't manipulate you that way. So I'm not even gonna waste my time with you, because you're not gonna come to my church. You're not gonna try to do nice things for me because I done said God bless you, and you know, they play these games, and you might think, nah, ain't nobody playing like that. You're over exaggerating. Trust me, if you tell them God, and this is the crazy part, I'll tell this narcissist, God bless you back. He'll say, Jesus loves you. I say, Jesus loves you too. And I could see like the hairs on his arms stand up, like he's mad, like this bitch responding back to me. But at the same time, she's not getting comfortable with me. It's like they want you to get comfortable with them so that they can start asking you shit. They can start invading your space. They can start lying, stealing, cheating. They want you to open up so they can start plotting on you. And sometimes it's nothing personal with you. It's not like they targeted you. It's just that it just happened to be you. You know what I'm saying? It just happened to be you. So they'll use the religion shit on you. They'll lie about their whole reality. Some of them, they won't tell you how many kids they have. They'll lie to you about how many children they have. Some of them, they won't tell you they have kids. Some of them will wipe out their kids off their social media, and their excuse is, I don't want people to see my kids. I keep my kids off of social media. But all their kids got social media. They're just keeping their kids off social media because they don't want supplies and people that they're trying to attract to know they got children. So you got females that you know, that are Jezebel spirits, and they're trying to attract someone, supply. You know, they're not seeking love, they're not seeking connection, they're seeking attention, they're seeking who they can manipulate, and they're not letting you know who they really are. There's no limit to their lies. They're not being transparent. And even when you start talking to them, right? Okay, you keeping your kids off social media, but say now you're talking to someone on a personal level. When now that you're talking to them, why aren't you telling them the truth? You know what I'm saying? You wanted to keep them off social media, cool, but now once you're speaking to someone and you're trying to pursue them, or you're trying to be pursued by someone, why aren't you being honest about who you are and what you're about? It's because they don't want you. The narcissist doesn't want you to identify them with other people. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like if you're someone who has a disability, someone can look at you and they're not thinking of who you are as a person, as a human being, that you're a friend, a father, a leader, you're someone who, you know, someone spiritual, whatever the case. They don't know the good qualities about you. They're looking at the exterior. So the narcissist people, the Jezebel, they feel like by telling you the truth about themselves or their lives, or even their trauma, they don't want you to connect their trauma, physical things, their past relationships, their children. They don't want you to connect that with who they are as a person, because to them it's like who I am as a person, who I'm trying to show you I am, past materialistic stuff, be outside of my children, outside of things that you would want to identify me with. I want to show you that this is who I am inside, right? That's part of the love bomb. The love bomb is to make you feel like what they're showing you is who they are, and all the mistakes that they have done, the people that they've dragged through the mud. They're trying to make you feel like that is not part of their identity. They're dissociating themselves with that, and they're associating with themselves with the character that they've created, which is their avatar. They feel like this, whoever I'm behaving, whatever I'm presenting to you is what I am. That's basically the biggest lie a narcissist will tell you. Because if that's the case, then your co-workers and the people that act like they're one way, but then they're trying to sabotage you, they're trying to identify themselves as this hard-working co-worker, but then you're going to work gossiping, causing problems, trying to get other people to lose their job. You're discriminating, you're doing all these things. You're trying to identify yourself as being a good friend, a family person, someone who takes care of your children, and then you're trying to dissociate yourself with your racism, your discrimination, your gossiping. You're trying to dissociate yourself with all the bad qualities that you have as a human being. So that's what a narcissist does. They try to dissociate themselves with the qualities of who they really are behind closed doors, who they really are even out in the open. They want to dissociate that anything bad that they do, they dissociate that as if it never happened, as if it's not a big deal, as if almost like they're living in Grand Theft Auto, a video game, and people aren't real people. You know, your life, with the damage that they do, they make it seem like it's not that bad, and even if it's bad, they don't care because it's not them walking in your shoes, and they're very aware of that, you know. So there's no limit to the lies a narcissist will say to you. One of the reason I also was gonna make this video, right, I was thinking to myself, you know, and I said to myself, I cannot believe when I was with the narcissist and we were at the end of our relationship, and they were messing around with the new supply, and no matter how much I wanted to leave, he just kept pulling me in, trying to secure that supply. Like, looking back now, it was all about securing that supply, and anything good that he did, the good times, it was all just buying time, right? And they'll tell some truth about their intentions in there. And if you say, hey, if those are your intentions, then my choice is to just end things now, right? So the narcissist is like, they're trying to get you to just like be there for them, but they don't really want to commit to you. And you're basically like, well, why are you around? Why you been around, right? Because I don't want to be around people that I don't want to be around. I don't want to be friends with people that I don't want to be friends with. I don't want to be with someone I don't want to be around. And you start thinking like, that's odd. It's weird. And the way they're treating you bad, if any stranger was to treat you bad, you wouldn't want to be around that person anymore, right? Someone treat you fucked up, do some fucked up shit, you probably gonna want to retaliate, get mad, you might want to fight back, you're gonna want to get away from that. You don't want to deal with that person. So for a narcissist to have that type of energy where they're just around you to abuse you, to manipulate you, to use you, to buy time, to comfort their emotions and their feelings, to regulate their shit while they're trying to dump their negative chemical imbalance on you, and they're trying to regulate their own emotions through you, and then make you look like you're crazy, or make you look like you're judging them because you see them for who they are and you're disgusted with them. You know, and when you see that there's no limit to their lies, there comes a point where the lies, it gets very, the lies get very, very diabolical. And I remember, you know, at the end of the relationship, I was just like, wait, this was a lie, or you did this to manipulate this person, and the narcissist is kind of like, bingo, like, now you're understanding, now you get it that I'm a liar, basically, right? It was like they were proud of themselves. And like I said, at the end of the relationship, the narcissist is like, you know, still back and forth with the new supply and me. And there was a time, and I've shared this in other videos, where the narcissist came out wearing scrubs, like they work in a hospital or some shit, light blue scrubs. And they got in the car, and I'm like, why are you wearing scrubs? And he's like, well, I'm about to get a check for taking care of my elderly father. And I'm like, okay, but why are you, like, a lot of people do that. A lot of people, take care of the elderly and get paid for it. But it's not like you're going to you got different patients that you go to, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is just your family member. Like, there's no need to wear scrubs, like, people take care of my grandmother and they don't wear scrubs, they get paid. So I found it very weird, and I remember thinking to myself, like, because at that time, that was the ending of the relationship. So I knew this motherfucker is doing this shit because it's hard to keep up with me and the new supply, to the point that they're basically telling the new supply probably that they got a new job or they got to work more hours, and they're trying to deceive them by wearing scrubs, and then coming with me like they're going to work or something. And I'm looking at them and I'm like, yeah, but why are you wearing scrubs? And then he gets really hostile with me, and he's like, why can't you just tell me that I look nice with scrubs on? If I look good with scrubs on, just say I look good, but don't be hating like I'm wearing scrubs because I want to wear scrubs. I don't have to wear them, but I'd rather wear them. And I remember thinking to myself, like, yeah, he got a point. I don't want to sound like a hater, but then he don't got a point, because he's gaslighting me and he's lying and he's up to something, and he's trying to act like he's not up to nothing, and then he's trying to make me feel guilty, and then he's trying to make me feel like I'm crazy for questioning why he's wearing scrubs. Like, there's no limit. There's no limit to a narcissist lie, that they will lie to your face and they will just keep on lying. Like, even if they look stupid, to them it's like, oh, you think I look, like, they're aware of you thinking they look stupid. And when you feel like, oh, they look dumb, they look crazy, they're like, yeah, bitch, I'm crazy. Yeah, bitch, yeah, I'm manipulating as fuck. Yeah, I'm gaslighting. Like, you're not gonna get me to bow down. You're not gonna get me to be a good person. You're not gonna get me to tell the truth. I'm gonna tell the truth when I want to tell the truth, and this ain't the time to tell the truth because I'm still up to something. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Like, there's no limit to their lies. There's no limit to their lies. I had I told you guys my aunt had breast cancer, and she was always jealous of my relationship with my grandmother, because all my aunts were jealous of my relationship with my grandparents, because they felt like their kids weren't as close to my grandparents as I was, but I was close to them because my mother lived right next door. So, and I was very attached to my grandfather, so when my grandfather died, and because I was so attached to my grandfather, then I became attached to my grandmother. So I remember at this point, I was going through a lot with the narcissist. whatever. I wanted to move on with my life, and I was starting new plans. You know, like when you're like trying to start a new plan with your life, what you're gonna do after. It was like it wasn't just me talking about it. I was actually taking different steps to change my life at that time, right? But you're always gonna have haters who don't believe in your dreams, and they don't even care about the steps that you have taken, because they don't even know how far you came. Like they're just looking at you thinking like everything done been coming easy, or thinking everybody, oh, you must be getting help, or they feel like because if they helped you one time, they feel like everything that you do is because of them, because they helped you that one time, as if you're not fucking living life every fucking day to survive. So this aunt made up a lie about me when she was going through chemo, and she said that I put my hands on her. And then when I tried to, and I didn't put my hands on her, I was telling her my plans. And when I was telling her my plans, she tried to redirect my plans and started telling me to do, like, you shouldn't do that, you should do this. And I remember telling her, like, why would I do that when I could be doing this? Like, why would you think why would you look at me and think that I'm not worth more? Like, you're trying to degrade me to do, and I'm not trying to say like it was degrading, but I'm like, you're trying to, it was like they were trying to direct me to do something that was, to me, it was beneath me. Nothing is ever really beneath anybody, you know what I'm saying? But at that time, I felt like, that's beneath me. How dare you? If I'm telling you I'm gonna go do this, and you're trying to tell me to do some shit that I feel is beneath me, when I'm telling you all these great plans, it makes me feel like you're being a hater, you know? So I told her, I said, you're being a hater. And she said, oh, I was just trying to, you know, help you. And I'm like, you're not helping me. You're telling me to do something that's like beneath me, something that it's not gonna make me no money, and I'm gonna be wasting my time. What are you talking about, right? So I was like, I'm gonna leave or whatever. I'm gonna leave. And when I left, she goes, I don't want you to leave upset. I don't want you to leave upset because you can get in a car accident. I said, I'm not gonna get in a car accident. I said, I'm good. I need to be by myself right now. Because to me, it was like, I don't even be sharing shit with people. And when I share shit with the people closest to me, and they're playing in my face, and I already felt like they were on the narcissistic spectrum too, but I was still trying to have hope for people, still trying to have hope that motherfuckers ain't as evil and emotionless as they are, you know, like still trying to give people, like, maybe I was younger, I was a teenager, now I'm an adult, so I'm trying to give it a different perspective. But it don't matter how old I get, you're trying to talk to me crazy, you know, like with no respect. And when you're not, when I feel like, hey, I got strangers and people that respect me, and I'm coming around you and you trying to talk to me, and you got this perception of me that's not even who I am, is just based off of gossip and lies. So when I left, she said she told people that I hit her, that I like shoved her or pushed her or whatever. So I was trying to reach out to her, and she would not answer, but I knew there was going to be a family event, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to catch that bitch at the family event. She thinks I'm not coming because when I was younger, I was very naive and I was a little punk. You know, I would just kind of disappear when I felt hurt. But I was like, no, I'm going to come like a fucking villain, big bad wolf. I'm going to look at everyone in their eyes. They got something to say it to my face type of attitude. And when I came, I confronted her in front of everyone, because if you're going to make up such a nasty lie while you're going through chemo, bitch, I'm going to expose you in front of everyone, because I really felt sorry for you, what you were going through. But the fact that you would make up such a lie, and you're in a position where you could die, bitch, like, fuck you. I don't care what happens to you. That was my attitude. And I could not believe she made that lie. You know what I'm saying? So dealing with these type of people, there's no limit to their lies. They'll lie, put some fucking scrubs on. They'll lie and say you did something that you didn't do. They'll lie at the job just to get you fired, just because they don't like you. They don't like how you look. They're fucking racist and weird as fuck. And they think they think going to work is like a family fucking event. You know what I'm saying? So there's no limit to what these people will do. But the thing that I learned with narcissists is that when they do bad things, they don't empathize with people because they're liars. You know, there's no limit to their lies. They can seem like they empathize with their family members and the people around them. It can seem like they're normal people, but they're not normal people. They're like the Walking Dead. It might seem, you know, they can seem like good parents, like, oh, you know, very present in their kids' life, but they're a fucked up person. They're a thief. They're a liar. You know, they go around fucking up other people's lives. They don't like people fucking with their kids, saying anything about their kids. They sit here fucking with other people's kids, treating other people's kids like shit, sabotaging other people, you know. And they think that the person that they are with the people around them, they feel like that's the real them. The people that they respect, and they only respect them as much as they can use them, right? Their friends and people that they connect with, they feel like they connect with them just in case they need a job, just in case they want to connect their family. It's all about connections with the narcissist. So these people will lie, you know, in order to get what they want, you know, and that's that can fuck up the empath, when the empath can work hard to get to try to achieve something, and here comes a narcissist lying their way to the top. But it's not something that's gonna be lasting. They can't function on a lie. You know, you can't function as a leader based on a lie. You can't pretend to be a leader, pretend to be this based on a lie, you know, for too long. You could try, right? You got people out here telling lies and being, you know, leading the country and doing a whole bunch of stuff, but everything comes with the price, you know, and the narcissist is very, very aware of that. That's why to them, when they get over on you, when they steal from you, they don't feel bad. They feel like, hey, I'm gonna have to pay for it, but I'm a compensate. I'm a compensate through you, through other people, through the new supply. I'm gonna get my get back one way or another. So when you deal with these type of people and you realize there's no limit to their lies, you start looking at people different. You start looking for the worst in people before you see the good in them, and that could be toxic too, right? It's okay to be self-aware, right? It's okay to be self-aware, because a lot of these narcissists, they'll expose themselves to you. They'll tell you a lie. They'll see how trusting you are. They'll see how if you believe everything people tell you, they'll test you out. And when they see that you're not reacting to them, or you're not treating them any different, or you're not giving them any special treatment because they're trying to put themselves on a pedestal, when they see that what they say to you doesn't change who you are, you're not adjusting yourself for them in any kind of way, they start exposing a lot of themselves. Like I've said, I've came across narcissists that, you know, they'll lie and act like they're religious so you could trust them, so they can do small talk with you so that you can open up your home, you can do business with them. It's all a facade. You know, you got certain narcissists, they come at you very friendly, they want to dap you up, they want to, you know, hey, you know, and the whole time, you know. Then you got certain narcissists that they see that you're polite but you're not an open book, and that pisses them off because they feel like, oh, I can't disrespect you. When I'm around you, I feel like I gotta be on my best behavior. I feel like you're demanding respect. So now I gotta find a reason to make up a lie and antagonize you and make myself the victim to sabotage you, because I don't like that you feel like I need to respect you. It's just a simple fact. Like, if a narcissist don't like you, but they know that they're in an environment where they have to respect you, the narcissist feels like they'd rather make up a lie and sabotage you than having to work with you, because the hate for you is that deep. They can't stand being in a room with you, and you don't have to do nothing with these people. They could just be replaying a fucking story in their brain that is fucking, it's a manifestation of the hate that they've been carrying around with them for a long time. You got, you know, you got a lot of these narcissists that, you know, they'll even expose, you know, themselves. You know, I remember, like, sometimes a narcissist can come off really charming, giving you compliments, flirtatious, giving you the fucking, they trying to give you the dreamy eyes, they're trying to hypnotize you, and that shit just not working. You know, that shit just not working. They want to see if when they come in you get excited, like, because you make the day, they make the day go by faster or whatever. They want to see if it makes your day, their presence makes your day. You know, they want to see if their presence impacts you in any kind of way. And when you ignore that shit, you know, you're respectful, but you ignore that shit, what a lot of narcissists start to do is they just start exposing themselves. So some of them, if they're perverts, they'll start touching on you. They'll start, you know, overstepping their boundaries, because they're like, okay, you know, if it's like, they're like, oh, you can see through me, okay, I'm gonna just show. They have no shame. They'll just start acting like they know you, like, oh, well, you see through me, then that means that you're used to being with someone like me, so now I could disrespect you the way that person probably disrespected you. It's like, if you could see through them, they feel like, oh, I don't have to hide the mask, you know. So I had a dude that used to flirt with me all the time, and I'm like, I don't know what ended up happening, but I was basically shutting him down, and I was like, nah, you're a narcissist, but I said it in a joking way. And he goes, oh, that's what my ex-wife used to say about me, right? Like, just being blunt about it. He's like, that's what my ex-wife used to say about me. And then he's like, I've been married twice, actually. He said, and in both of my weddings, it was like I was having an outer body experience. I was like, why am I even having this wedding? And he said, and in my second wedding, I think it was more about the gifts. It was more about the limousine, getting dressed up. He said, I didn't want to do it. She wanted to do it. Her family was paying for everything. I was just tagging along. He was like, I was just tagging along. He said both those relationships failed, and now he's over here trying to attract young women. And I told him, I said, do you really think young women like you because, like, of who you are, like, you know, or do you think they like you because of what they think you could do for them? And I could tell he was very delusional, you know, because even with me, he thought he was like suave with me, and I was like, I'm not even attracted. I don't even look at you like that at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, the past sources of supply make the narcissist feel like everyone looks at them the same. Very delusional people. So when they feel like other women have fell for their lies, they feel like every woman will fall for their lies, you know? So there's no limit to the lies a narcissist will tell you guys. And I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll talk to you guys